My name is Ray Ram. Nice to meet you, everyone. This is my first ever YouTube channel. I know. Wait, did I say channel or channel? I don't know, girl. It's channel. It's my first YouTube channel, and I am highly nervous because I never really recorded my voice like this before. So do bear with me. My name is Ray Ram, and why I am making a YouTube channel is because I want to. For a long time, and also because I just want to have fun. Honest truth. Um, but anyways, besides the point, I am here today, or you guys are here today, because we have a special topic that I want to talk about, and because I'm obsessed with this darn movie, and I need to talk about it because I had a phase. Anyways, today's topic in this YouTube video, or my first YouTube video, is going to be about The Incredibles comic book that no one ever talks about. What I mean, no one ever talks about it, and it's driving me insane. Thank you! And I'm like, bruh, y'all need to learn, okay? I just feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, and now that I got a chance to make a YouTube channel and talk about it, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, ain't gonna lie. Anyways, digress. Anyways, so for our video, I'm gonna talk about that. So I do want to give a heads up that there are going to be spoilers, as I love the series so much, and I might get a little ahead of myself, so you have been warned in advance. The Incredibles comic book series was published by Boom Studios in 2009 to 2011. The series got cancelled due to Boom Studios losing the license to Pixar in January 2011. The series has up to 15 issues and was supposed to have 16 and 17 out, but never got published due to the cancellation. Yes, Marvel took the licensing to create Pixar's magazines, which I haven't looked at personally, so I can't really give an opinion on that part. But I still would like to see issues 16 and 17. Just saying. Anyway, The Incredibles was one of my favorite movies of all time, and I would watch it over and over again, like some of my other phases and movies I watched religiously growing up. So when Incredibles 2 came out when I was like in 7th grade, wow, 7th grade, that's so wow. Anyways, I was so stoked and to quit my first for more content. And the new movie came out. I had looked at archives of behind the scenes in the first movie and the super documents that are in the deluxe DVD set, and find some old videos online and also video games that was made in 2004. Was when Flash was around at that time. R.I.P. Flash. Anyways, as I was looking for more content until the movie came out, yes, I'm obsessed, be quiet, I found a website that was advertising The Incredibles comic series 2009, and as I checked it out, I was having such a blast. It was so much fun to read, and I enjoyed every second of it, and it felt very special reading it. And don't get me wrong, I felt cool when I told my friends about the books, and I loved it so much. I made a couple of fanfictions on that, which are still up, and I did not finish, and probably got a lot of grammar issues and so much more. So if you read them by any chance, or if I found them, do be warm on my grammar, and it might be cheesy and cringy, because I did make this in middle school, or that in middle school. Moving on, I'm gonna start with like the 5 first issues. Actually, technically additional 6, like basically a 6, because there's issue 0. But anyways, I might just start with 5 or 6 in this video because I haven't edited this long, so it is taking a long time, and this is my first time ever making a long length video like this, so do bear with me here. But I'm probably gonna make this like a 3-part series, just cause editing wise, so yeah, versus revise, I guess, for that. So So starting on with issue 0, we get started off with Bob, or Mr. Incredible, coming home from work. This issue takes place when supers are illegal, and this also takes the story before Jack Jack is born. Bob comes home with a pregnant Helen and his 2 kids, Violet and Dash, chasing each other. Dash teases Violet about being a freak, which is ironic, and Bob diffuses the situation by telling them they're not freaks and reminds them that they are a normal family. Air quote. After Dash apologizes to Violet, Helen asks for Bob in the kitchen for a talk. Bob comes in the kitchen and Helen is worried that they aren't prepared when Jack Jack is ready to be born. Well, mostly Bob isn't prepared for Jack Jack. Bob, of course, says he can handle a crisis because of his experience being a super. Helen plays a trick on Bob, saying the baby is coming, which freaks out Bob. Instantly, they destroys the wall to the garage, which in the comic series, I think they live in a house, the same house that they move in the movie, now thinking about it. Anyway, Bob proves her point, and Bob admits he needs to work on it. But that was cut short as Jack Jack was actually coming for real this time, which made Bob like one of those dad sims that run all over the place when the wife is like literally in labor. So Helen, as the boss mom that she is, grabs the things and guides everyone in the car. Bob drives Helen to our new character, Doc Sunbright. Doc Sunbright is a scientist and doctor that helps the supers when they were legal at the time with injuries, medical, or anything. So Helen basically was more comfortable with Doc Sunbright than going to actual hospital. So Bob calls Doc Sunbright to inform him they were coming over. Little did they know, of course, Doc Sunbright, or scientist, was getting held hostage with 2 villains in the lab that are named Mr. Pixel and Tronosaurus. Doc acts normal throughout the call and tells Bob to come over if they must. As Doc Sunbright hangs up, he informs the villains that there is a family coming over. Tronosaurus threatens Doc Sunbright to get him the alien virus and they'll be on their way. Of course, Doc Sunbright was not going to do so, and that the family will be coming at any minute. Mr. Pixel makes a plan B and opens a portal to bring a whole league of villains. Mr. Pixel assigns a villain named Mole to persuade the Potter family to go to a different area to have Jack Jack. Mole is a shapeshifter villain and shapeshifts into a police officer and follows the plan. As the Potter family sees him, Bob and Helen definitely picks up something is off and know it's Mole because of his big mole on his nose. Helen tells Bob we can go and they drive off to act as if they went away. They park in the back of Doc Sunbright's office, and Bob and Helen figures that Doc Sunbright was in trouble. Bob quickly grabs a bunch of ski masks out of the trunk so the family could disguise themselves from the villains knowing their secret identity. Helen questions Bob, of course, and why there's ski masks in the trunk anyway, knowing they're in hiding, which Bob makes a lame excuse by saying it's for skiing. Bob switches the discussion and has Violet to sneak in to see how many villains were in the lab and what they were up against. Violet does as she's told, but not without Dash using his power to sucker punch a villain that was holding Doc Sunbright by the collar. Only Dash.
You did this for what?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Why though?
Anyway, as the villains are alerted by Dash's tag, Bob knocks out Mole that was chasing Violet and follows her to where Dash was having fun beating up a bunch of villains. Bob guides Helen to an office chair and told her he will take care of this, which was to her known as the opportunity for him to live his glory days as a super. As Bob helps with Violet and Dash fend off to hurt their opponents, Doc Sunbright informs them they are after an alien virus and says they need to protect it at all costs. Of course, this container that goes back and forth from a hero to a villain trying to get the virus until Helen ends up getting hold of it from both parties. Doc Sunbright immediately takes the virus as he still didn't know its effects and take it away from Helen from a safe distance. Doc Sunbright takes Helen and the virus with him to a safer area so Jack Jack can be born. Dash follows to keep them protected while Violet and Bob finish off the villains. After defeating a whole league of villains, Violet and Bob comes back to meet their new family member, Jack Jack, or his full name, John Jackson Parr. That's a lot, but yeah, this is the full name. As the family enjoy to see their new family member, the story pans to the virus container as it ends and starts to issue 1 in the series. Now with issue 1 of The Incredibles, we jump back to the present after the movie of The Incredibles. Now do bear with me because they changed the art style a bit from the last issue, and I'm not gonna lie, it is not the greatest.
Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again.
Anywho, the story starts off with Jack Jack catching a cold. This is not normal to Helen as Dash and Violet had never gotten sick, in which I feel like in this lore, I guess supers don't get sick, as far as they are aware of. Bob takes the family out in the mall to pass the time until Doc Sunbright gets the results. It wasn't long until the new villain starts to cause trouble in the mall, and we meet our new villain, which is named Gorilla. Interesting. And he is a talking gorilla, which I ain't gonna lie, kind of reminds me of the gorilla from Teen Titans, in the 2003 Teen Titans. I don't know. I'll track anyway. And he's there to fight back urban decay and gross consumerism, which I guess cool. I guess. Violet was, of course, in babysitter duty while the rest of the family fights down Gorilla, and this gets hard though as the mall they are in is in mid-air and crumbling around them, which make Violet lose track of Jack Jack in the process. As Dash, Mr. Incredible, and Elastigirl fights down Gorilla and his minions, Dash knocks out one of the minions back in the mall. The minion, named Larry, gets up from the rubble of the mall they're destroying and finds Jack Jack. Larry, of course, wondering who the baby is and trying to find her parents. Jack Jack ends up sneezing, which causes powers to go berserk, giving Larry flaming powers. Amazing. Larry, amazed, figured that this will help his gang of henchmen. As Gorilla gets captured with the goons, the mall is in shambles, and the Park Fairy finds Violet by herself in her force field as she reports she lost Jack Jack. As the villains were taken care of, Dash uses his tracker to get the tracking signal to find Jack Jack, but doesn't succeed. He comes back to Sunbright's office to Violet, who felt totally guilty losing Jack Jack. Dash comforts Violet that it wasn't her fault and that they will find their baby brother. Meanwhile, Bob and Helen were devastated and came to meeting to get more information and updates on finding Jack Jack. Doc Sunbright and Agent Rick Dicker tells Helen and Bob what they found about Jack Jack's weird sickness. Doc Sunbright informs Helen and Bob that when Helen gave birth to Jack Jack, the alien virus that Helen was near exposed Jack Jack with the virus. The virus has been mutating and adapting to Jack Jack's DNA, which Agent Dicker reports that Jack Jack is considered a threat as because of this exposure to the alien virus, Jack Jack can duplicate the powers of the host, which is like an infection AU, but instead of zombies, Jack Jack is giving people powers. Agent Rick Dicker informs that Jack Jack will have to be quarantined, which Bob can't believe what he's hearing. Dicker asks Bob and Helen where's Jack Jack, which was a dumb question anyway because Bob and Helen came to them as they were on a search to find him, and so far the tracker hasn't picked up Jack Jack till... Oh, well, there you go. Bob and Helen follows a tracker to find Jack Jack, leaving Agent Dicker and Sunbright to talk amongst themselves till they came back. Meanwhile, Larry was playing with Jack Jack as one of the men came over to report all of the henchmen have been gathered in their secret headquarters of what looks like a warehouse. Larry makes a speech to the henchmen that Jack Jack will solve their problems as he will give them powers to be stronger to defeat. Everyone in the group is looking at him in crickets and confusion, wondering how a baby would help them in this whole situation. It wasn't long though as the Parr family made their entrance to save Jack Jack and gets cocky until a whole army of armed soldiers, literally, makes their own entrance. Larry and his group ends up surrendering, giving Jack Jack to the family. Bob finds out that the lead soldier was if I mess up his name one more time, Agent Dicker, as he orders him to stand down so they can retrieve Jack Jack. Bob is of course angry that Agent Dicker is pointing weapons at his family and proves Jack Jack is not a threat. Jack Jack makes a normal sneeze until he sneezes the second time, making blue flames around him spurt everywhere around the warehouse, giving every henchman superpowers. This leaves the Incredibles surrounded with powerful henchmen that are now granted powers and armed soldiers pointing at the Incredibles at the end of issue 1. So, issue 2, we get to back to our art style from the issue 0 again, which is better in my opinion. Anyway, so Agent Dicker tells his soldiers to defeat not only the henchmen, but also apprehend the Incredibles and retrieve Jack Jack. Bob feels, of course, betrayed by hearing these old orders as Dicker was their friend and now becoming an enemy. The armed soldiers were do as they're told and were able to defeat the henchmen that gained superpowers from Jack Jack. As the henchmen were defeated, the Incredibles tried to book it so Jack Jack wouldn't be taken away from them. Dicker tells the soldiers to fall back, and they did. Little did they know they had a flying airship above the warehouse, and the family thinking that they're safe. Bob hears the noise of a laser gun coming, and he tells the family to get out of the way. This, of course, is too late as the warehouse gets exploded and knocking most of the Parr family besides Violet, even though in the panel we see her knocked out, but in the next panel the soldiers said they can't find her.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Anyways though, the soldier takes the henchman and the rest of the Parr family, including Jack Jack, to the airship. Later in the story, Elastigirl, Dash, and Mr. Incredible are held captive in the same ship. Hold on. This setting looks too familiar.
I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Anywho, Bob regrets from taking them to the mall in the first place, and they should have went home to let Jack Jack rest, and none of this would have happened. Elastigirl tells him it wasn't his fault at all wanting to spend time with his family, and Helen, on the other hand, says she regrets leaving Violet and Jack Jack to defend themselves while fighting crime. Even though, honest truth, now thinking about it, Violet could have went to a different whole building that was not coming apart in the situation. But I digress. Anyways, Dash also said it wasn't his fault either, while the parents are not here him, which is still middle child, which I should know. Anywho, Helen and Bob cheer each other up while Dash rolls his eyes about the whole situation. Meanwhile, Helen hears Violet's voice through the tracker as she was in the airship as well, trying to find him.
Oh my God, my Shayla, my Shayla.
As Violet looks around, she hears someone coming and went invisible. She sees Agent Ricker, is it Ricker? Anyway, Ricker, we're just gonna call it Ricker. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Coming out of a room and used her voice field to sneak in. She did see Doc Sunbright and the real Agent Dicker. Now I put it in there. I hate myself. Agent Dicker explains they have been captured by a dangerous organization of villains called the Confederacy of Crime. which was from issue 0, or the villains from issue 0. We soon find out that the fake Agent Dicker was actually Shifty, not Mo. I call him Mo because he didn't say it in issue 0, but he carved his Mo, so now it's Shifty. Anyways, the team tells their plans and we're going into motion as they need Jack Jack to advance or enhance their superpowers due that Jack Jack has the alien virus. Shifty, feeling himself doing most of the work anyway, tells his leader Mr. Pixel what he accomplished and say he captured a henchman and the Incredibles. Mr. Pixel and the group were unhappy that they had the Incredibles in the ship and that they were just there in the prison cell to escape and stop their operation. Mr. Pixel immediately pressed a button to destroy the Incredibles for good, and Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and Dash struggles to break free. Luckily though, Violet saves her family and breaks them from their prison just in time before getting destroyed by razor blades coming at them.
She's got a point. She's an icon. She's a legend. And she is the moment. Now, come on now.
After Violet's family was free, Bob sees Agent Dicker and immediately grabs hold on Agent Dicker's throat. Violet clears Agent Dicker's name and explains that Shifty was in disguise as him the whole time. Bob comes to his senses and let Dicker go and apologize. After the alert has broke out in the airship that the Incredibles have broken free, the family goes find Jack Jack so they can get out of here and defeat the Confederacy of Crime. Mr. Pixel sees the cameras of the Incredibles out and confronts how Shifty was an idiot for bringing supers to a secret base in the first place. It was a bad idea. So Mr. Pixel and the Confederacy of Crime rushes to these tripod machines where they put Jack Jack in this crib area so they can transmit the virus to them so they can gain more powers. While the family was fighting the armed soldiers, Doc Sunbright tells Dash that they need to find Jack Jack. Dash uses his powers to speed around the ship and finds Jack Jack and swap him away before the villains ever seeing them and gone. Anyways, as the machine starts to warm up, the villains takes off their headpieces as Jack Jack was gone. Shifty was a little slow, and the machine zaps him, causing the machine to backfire and explode part of the airship, ending issue 2. So you know when I said I'll be doing 5 issues per video? Well, I lied.
You need to leave!
Okay, hear me out. As I was rereading the series again, I'm going to cut it off to separate their arcs, because we get an arc in issue 4 representing a character, and each arc represents kind of a theme of one of the characters. So the first arc being the first 0 to 3 being the first arc about Jack Jack, and so on. Also, the next episode is one of my favorite arcs, and I want to make it special. So, yeah. So let's get started in our last issue. So, in issue 3, we see these tripods land on the desert island, and we see Mr. Pixel, Census, and Roller Girl surviving the crash. Mr. Pixel tells them he made the pods be able to turn into helicopters so they can so-called escape, but it backfires and doesn't work. Roller Girl was fed up with Mr. Pixel's idiotic plans, as well as Census. I'm not gonna lie, I love Roller Girl's design and I think she's really cool, but they don't really show her powers at all, nor I guess Census as well, but she looks really cool nonetheless. She's giving like Shigo energy, but not really, as she doesn't fight or they don't showcase it, which is a little disappointing, but we move on, I guess. On the other side of the island, Violet protects everyone while Bob gets everyone out of the water. As everyone recovers, Jack starts to sneeze again, which everyone was waiting for the virus to spread again, but nothing happens. Jack was finally got rid of the alien virus and was back to normal again. Everyone was celebrating that it was over. Bob sees someone miles away from them on the other side of the island, and Dash checks it out and who was there and finds out it was the villains. Dash rushes back and warns his family that the villains were there, and Helen gives Agent Dicker Jack as the family decides to finish this once and for all. The rest of the Confederate of Crime were in a panic as they knew they were going to be defeated. Mr. Pixel is not sure what to do as he panics as well, and a henchman that was in the ship emerges from the water as they survive as well, thinking they were scot-free. As the Potter family were about to fight the villains, they got confronted by a giant Shifty, causing henchmen to land on the island. Everyone was dumbfounded until Elastigirl pulls Doc Sunbright to confront him, as the virus wasn't supposed to affect adults. Doc Sunbright said that the virus must have mutated again, giving Shifty his new powers. Bob confronts Mr. Pixel, of course, as this was his plan in the first place. Mr. Pixel tries to take the credit even though he didn't plan for Shifty getting the powers, but Shifty flings Mr. Pixel in the sea as he didn't need Mr. Pixel or any of the villains for that matter, which, honest true facts. Shifty did most of the work anyway. He did most of the work anyway, so it's fair. Moving on, Shifty decides to destroy everyone on the island, and Bob commands the henchmen to attack him if they want to survive. The henchman really has no choice and ends up helping the Potter family defeat Shifty. As everyone uses as much force to take Shifty down, Shifty decides to turn himself into a dragon, since he can make shift into anything now with his new enhanced powers, to defeat everyone around him. As a lot of henchmen were getting taken out by Shifty's powers, and Elastigirl asks Doc Sunbright any ideas how to get him to drain the virus out of his system. This is when she gets an idea and gets some palm leaves to get Shifty to sneeze. Shifty sneezed, which caused him to spread the virus, as the Potter family enhances their powers, giving Bob extra strength, Dash more speed, Elastigirl more elastic, and Violet electric powers, which is iconic to me. Very
Yes, Queen! Yes!
iconic. Anyways, those... Of course, the site of alien virus has its side effects, which causes the Potter family to not feel well, but they power through and defeat Shifty. As Shifty was defeated, the Potter family were quarantined until the virus subsided successfully. After getting back to normal, Bob asks about the group of henchmen that were affected by the virus and know if they will be able to be normal again. Doc Sunbright says that it may be permanent, and Bob brings up that the henchmen were not all bad and that they did help them defeat Shifty after that whole end of the mission. Agent Dicker says if they cooperate with the government, they could possibly have a lighter sentence from their crimes and so forth. But this also leaves Agent Dicker worried, as now that the supers are back and villains as well, he's worried there will be a bigger threat coming. Bob tells him that what can happen, which we already know how that goes, and it pans out to Metroville's prison filled with villains, as they get a letter to inform the villains that there were a new team of villains called the Unforgivables. Nice. Leaving Jack's arc at an end. So I hope you enjoyed that arc. I know it's just the beginning, but I promise this next arc gets a little dark, but I feel like you might gonna enjoy it better. As I was telling you the story, while I was telling the story, I was making my persona as a character in the Incredible Universe, and decided to draw her in her citizen clothing. I tried my best and really was playing around with her design, but I like how she came out. her powers are similar ability to a ram, of course, and why she doesn't have horns is because I decided on one of her powers calls her horns to show when she's angry. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this my first video. If you get a chance, please comment on what you think about this incredible series down below, and I would like to hear your guys' feedback. And don't forget to like the video and let me know if you like this. I hope to see you next time. Bye.